Perfect. And we have quorum as well, so we're ready whenever you are.
Okay, great. Okay, I will call the meeting to order. And good afternoon, everyone. Great to see everyone. First item I'm going to ask is, are there any declarations of interest from the members?
My apologies, Madam Chair. I do just need to start the recording as well. Sorry about that. Okay, we're good to proceed.
Sorry. Okay, I will call the meeting to order. And the first item on the agenda is our declaration of interest. Does anyone have any declarations of interest? Any of our members? No? Okay. And we do not have any delegations today. So I will start with the first item on the agenda. And that is the accessibility compliance report. But I will first go ahead with the motion. And the motion is as follows. That report CCR-JAAC-09-25 Grey County 2025 Accessibility Compliance Report be received, and that the 2025 Accessibility Compliance Report be endorsed as presented for submission to the Ministry for Seniors and Accessibility as legislated. And can I have someone move the motion? Pamela? Oh, okay. Brooke? Okay. Yeah. And can I have a seconder? Ray? Okay, thank you. And I will hand this over to Kathy Nuno.
Well, thank you, Chair, and hi, everybody. Nice to see everybody today. This is our compliance report that the ministry requires us to submit every 2 years as a municipality. The last few that have been submitted, they've had a series of specific questions that they ask, and then you provide the answers to those questions and then submit that. This year, they took a little bit of a different approach on it, and they basically asked blanket questions for each of the IASR, employment standard, design of public spaces, customer service, and transportation and information and communication. So, but what they also did was they provided a checklist tool so that you could go through and make sure that you were achieving the compliance. And I thought that the best approach would be to complete the checklist with all the departments, because in that way I'd have the responses that would back up our submission. And then if we ever were to be audited, it would be easy to go back and prove our compliance. So that's what I did. And on both the actual compliance form and the checklist are attached to the report. And I'm happy to answer any questions or hear any thoughts.
Hi, Kathy. I just would like to say thank you very much for your hard work on this. I know it's not an easy task when you're trying to get information from multiple departments and people. So I did read through the report, and I commend you for all the hard work that you've done to put this together for the county. So thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Does anyone have any questions for Kathy? Any concerns? No? Okay. All right. Then I will ask for all in favor of the motion. Ray? Okay. And Brooke?
Yes.
And do we have, is Claudia on today? I can't see her.
Claudia sent regrets today, Chair Schultz, but Christina Schnell is here.
Okay.
And Andrew's here.
Andrew, yes. Andrew,
Hello.
you're okay?
Hi, Andrew.
And unfortunately, Scott is just having some disconnect issues here, so I believe that we would be okay to go ahead and carry the motion. Or do we need to wait for Scott?
I think Chair Schultz, we have enough to carry that motion.
Yeah. Okay,
Has
thank you,
his hand
Kathy.
up. I think he's voting in favor.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So
thank
I-
you.
Can I throw out there, I don't know, Scott, if it might make it easier for you if you didn't have your video on?
I think he's moving to a phone. I saw the message down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
That was going to be my next step.
Oh,
And in
there you
failing
are.
that,
Oh.
I am going to join without video.
Okay, sounds good. At least we have you with us. Thanks, Scott. Okay, so the motion would be carried based on we had enough individuals. So I will move on then to the second item on the agenda, which is and I'll read the motion as follows, that the Grey County Joint Accessibility sorry, that's not the second one. I apologize for that. I'm moving way too far ahead. The second item is, and I'll read the motion, that report TR-JAAC-29-25, Grey Road 12 reconstruction, Markdale be received, and that the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee provide review and comment on the proposed design of the pedestrian facilities and rest areas. And before we move forward with that, excuse me, can I have someone move the motion? Pamela? Okay, great. And a seconder, Ray?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, thank you. And I will move this over to Sean Potter. He's our Grey County Supervisor for Capital Assets Transportation Services.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
Is it possible to share the screen so that the drawings that are in the report are visible to those in the committee?
Yep, I can share those. Just give me 1 minute here.
Okay, thank you. So effectively, the job itself, the limits of it are Wellington Avenue to Terra Drive. So for those of you familiar, it's a couple of blocks west of where the highway intersects Grey Road 12. And the underground infrastructure is the main trigger for this work. The sanitary sewers and water mains are well beyond their useful life, and the road has some issues as well. But in the existing condition, there's sidewalk along the south side of the road from Wellington to just before you get to the bridge, well before you get to the park at Scotland. And in the proposed, we're going to have sidewalk on both sides of the road. There is a restriction on the south side, so it's not going any farther than it did before. But now there's sidewalk that goes basically effectively to the west limit of the city, or town rather. The designs are all within compliance of the regulations, minimum sidewalk widths of 1.5, but these ones are 1.8. Curb face sidewalk in some cases. The reasons that we decided to go with those mostly have to do with the fact that the road is quite low relative to the properties that are adjacent to the road. So there's rather large elevation changes between the homes and the road itself. So trying to put sidewalk in an appropriate grade. We did do that in a few spots. Glasgow, which is the next drawing, Brittany, it shows there that we're putting some retaining walls in that'll allow us to put the sidewalk in and still maintain the height of the home effectively. But and yeah, so right at the end of Glasgow there's some retaining walls shown there. And that's basically the only way that we could get the sidewalk to work out. But from Glasgow to Wellington, we've been able to create separation there. So there's a curb and then a boulevard and then the sidewalk, which is obviously a lot safer, also a lot more comfortable in general, and a little bit of a nicer look. All of the locations where the sidewalk crosses the road, where there's a crossing, there will be, per the OPSD, the Ontario Provincial Standard Drawings, depressed curb and tactile or twizzies, tactile warning plates. So that, I think, is for the most part taken care of. What we have not done, and I'm obviously open to any comments, but we have not considered rest areas. We really wanted to get feedback on that particular thing. So I'd like to open the floor up to discussion regarding rest stations, if that's possible.
If you've got a retaining wall there and then the sidewalk and an elevation, is it possible to put them in? Because of or are the residences at the same level as the top of the retaining wall and sidewalk, or do they continue to elevate?
Yes, through you, Chair. All the homes where retaining walls are required, if the threshold to the front door is at or above the retaining wall elevation. There are only 2 homes that are affected in this manner, but that is the existing condition. It is a very steep front walkway and front slope to their yard down to the road.
Does anyone else have any suggestions for Sean with regards to rust areas? Yes, Pamela.
I just have a question. What type of rest areas are you thinking about? Seats or
Honestly,
benches?
that's exactly what we want to hear about. There are standards that we looked at that have some benches that have concrete underneath them that are tied into the sidewalk so that it's all contiguous. And then beside the bench, there's another piece of sidewalk that could be used for those in mobility devices, so that they effectively are off of the sidewalk the same way that you would be if you were on the bench. But you're in a mobility device as opposed to making use of the bench. And yeah, we're looking for feedback on that exact how far apart they should be is in the reg. We can extrapolate that, but what is the best use case for I guess the best information that I can get from this committee is what is your experience and what would you like to see?
Speaking as to winter months, what is the accessibility, and would that area beside the bench be cleared by snow removal, or?
I would understand this is where things get a little bit strange. The county is not actually, we're running this project, but the lower tier is actually responsible for the sidewalk. So that is a Grey Highlands responsibility. The regulations effectively say that whatever you do, you must maintain. So if we're doing something such as adding this platform for a mobility device to be able to be at, I would believe that the public works people from Grey Highlands would have to maintain that in the winter equally, that to the same degree that they did the sidewalk.
Because if that wasn't done, it would be parked on the street or on the sidewalk rather than.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Christina, you have a question.
Yeah, you did say that it only affects like 2 local houses. Are there like retirement homes or anything that you know of people that use that area where you would have to locally ask them? Like, I know like there's a section of town we're going through right now that's having some work done, and so I guess like an evaluation of what's in the area and if there are people. Like if it's 2 houses and the whole street is nothing else and it's not overly used, I would say, you know, your benches space could be farther apart. But if it's like you turn the corner and there's a retirement home and it's between the retirement home and the grocery store, then your number of what you would need would then go up.
Yeah, sorry, I think when I was saying it was only the 2 homes, it was the only 2 homes that are affected with the retaining wall.
Oh, okay.
There are a number of homes on the street. I actually don't know what the number is, but it's a normal residential road. You've probably got houses every 20 meters going along. There is an old property where the Chapman's building burned down that is dilapidated and kind of needs some love at some point, which I know that they've made some noise about doing that in the near future. But I would say that if you were someone who lived at the west limit of this project, which is also the west limit of the town, and you wanted to get to the downtown, that's well over 1 kilometer, and that rest areas would make sense.
You were mentioning mobility devices. Now, if I'm on a power chair, I don't need a rest area. Like a mobility device, other than a walker, would be about the only thing that you'd need a rest area for, would it not be?
And the only scenario that I would offer in opposition to that is where you have someone that does need the rest station and the other person is in a mobility device, that they can go for a walk together, so to speak. So that's the only scenario I could think of.
Yeah, good point, Sean.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Is there anything in that area that people may be going to? Like, do we even need rest areas? Because I feel like if it's a residential area, do you really want random people just hanging out in front of your house if it's not like a bus stop? Because when I lived in Guelph, we had a bus stop outside of our because we lived on a corner. So we live right outside of our place in our neighborhood. So that made sense. But just having like a random like bench can just be, I don't know about I don't know, people buy their houses wanting privacy. So is there anything in that area that we're going to have a large number of older people or people who need a rest stop in that area? Because if there isn't, then I feel like we're taking away privacy from people that we don't really need it. And we're also taking away sidewalk space that might not necessarily need to be taken away.
Thanks, Brooke. That's a good point. And yes, Pamela.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, but if it's up by where Chapman's used to be, is there not also a manufacturing plant or something up there? And isn't there a pool, like a community pond or something up there?
There's the Kiwanis Park,
Okay.
which is almost at the most westerly limit of this project. We are doing some access improvements to that in particular as part of this work. it's small differences, but big as far as how the actual entrance and walkability of the area will be. There's also the I think it's the soccer fields that if you take Glasgow to the north, um, are up there too. So there's some community sports that are happening in that area. Um, there are rumblings of development in the area on two pieces of property on this stretch that may uh, incur a greater demand on the pedestrian services as they are multi-unit residential. But that we could also accommodate that with a retrofit to the sidewalks at a later date once the developments actually take place. So like there are answers or possibilities in all the things that have been brought up. But I am hearing that is there a thought that they're not necessary? And is that something that the group supports?
I totally think they're necessary if you're going to utilize those, like the park, and there's also a trail or something up there. Like there's also, to Brooke's point about having seats in front of houses, there's empty areas there, like maybe in front of or nearby Chapman's. Was it their parking lot that was across the road from the plant? And there's by that manufacturing or whatever it is, I mean, there could be a seat there. I really think there should be one on each side for that stretch. That's my opinion.
Now, I live in Owen Sound, so I'm not 100% acquainted with the area. Do you have in that area a homeless issue, or is that just in Owen Sound? Because if it's a residential area, you don't want the homeless sleeping on a bench out in front of your house.
I also do not live there, but I would say that a number of the services that are designed around the homeless or the unhoused are in Owen Sound, and the prevalency there is probably higher than other places in the county. But to say that they're not represented in Markdale, I don't think I could back that up.
Okay, Tara.
That's okay. Sorry, I don't have anything further to add at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Tara. Does anyone else have any comments or suggestions for Sean? Yes, Kathy.
Thanks, Chair Schultz. I see at the, sorry, I'm not very familiar with how drawings work, but if north is at the
Up is
top.
north.
Okay, the south side, there's a Markdale Community Church, and I just wondered if it might be helpful to have a seating area near the church. And
Possible, community
I see
oriented. It's very I was thinking in front of the trail parking lot on the south side. But yeah, we'll be talking to Grey Highlands as well as the consultant as well. They'll have an opportunity to see either the recording of this or transcript of. But I would imagine that the suggestion that one rest station be on either side will be taken seriously. The exact location, I'm not sure if I can lay that out right now.
Yeah, that's very fair. Thank you, Sean.
No
I
problem.
see Scott's hand is up too, Chair.
Yes. Scott?
That's pretty much exactly what I was thinking was not to place it too close to the church, because if that's their destination, there's the seating there. But I was thinking in front of the trailer or that parking lot or in that vicinity too, because when we talk about building connected communities or walkable communities, that kind of leaped off the map as maybe a preferred spot, just as a bit of a rest break for individuals that may be walking to the church, or perhaps having an excursion out on the rail trail. So without populating it too much, because you can add those features down the road as development might occur, instead of overbuilding right off the bat. But certainly the inclusion of a bench somewhere in that middle area is probably favorable, I thought. So thanks.
Great, thanks, Scott. And you sort of expressed my concerns as well. I was thinking of that area as well. I mean, I'm sure, Sean, it's not limited to just one bench. You know, I'm sure that as you move along with the project, if there is a desire from other groups to have more than one bench, you would probably, you know, incorporate that into the design. Would that be correct?
That would be correct. Through we had a public information center for this project, and the fact that there is a lot more sidewalk than there has been in the past seemed to be the major plus. People were quite excited about that. There was not any mention of rest stops by any of the individuals that we spoke to. Another reason to come to this committee to make sure that that's being covered. But not that it's closed at this point, but we would think that we got what we needed from the general public at that time. So if anybody's in the area and they check it out and they have an idea, especially something like a rest area, which is kind of easy for us to just stick on. It's not a big expense and we can move it around in the project. I'd say kind of till December, we could probably add something without it changing the way the tendering is going to work in the following year.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything to add? Any other members? No? So hopefully this will give you some of the additional information, Sean, that you can go back with. And I'm glad that, yeah, as we point out, connectivity and accessibility are very vital to this group, as you can see. So I want to thank you for your time today and bringing this to the committee. And I will ask now for all in favor of the motion. Okay, everybody?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Brooke. Okay, and Andrew?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, the motion is carried. Thank you. Thanks again, Sean.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is it okay that I excuse myself from the meeting?
Absolutely, sir.
All right, everybody have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, we will move on to the next item on the agenda. So I will read the motion as follows. That the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee receive report LTCR-JAAC-15-25, and that the committee review and provide comment on the proposed renovations and updated lease. And I will hand this over to Sharon Cox. She is the Grey County Executive Director for Grey Gables, and Jennifer Cornell, Director of Long-Term Care.
Perfect. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for allowing me to present today. And through you, Madam Chair, the renovation project is presented to this committee for feedback, review, and comment. Discussion about lighting, flow of movement, and sound elements, and independent movement and other features will work towards promoting a culture of accessibility and fulfill the legislation responsibilities for consultation. So a little background, Grey County is an owner-operator of Grey Gables, a long-term care home in Markdale, Ontario. Kids and Nest is, and Family Education Center, has leased the space at Grey Gables for over 10 years. Changes have resulted in the need for renovations with Kids and Us, and they've agreed to lead and pay for the project with the approval from Grey County. So we have attached the drawings that show the space Kids and Us will occupy during the renovation and following the renovations. A new lease agreement has been prepared to replace the lease from 2019. The new lease provides details for the leased space both during and following the renovations, and the drawings demonstrate the space that will be used by the child care program from the time the renovation has started until its completion. So some of the, and just so you're aware too, it's not in here, but they have vacated. So there is no kids right now in the space. They are using some of the space for office while the renovations go on. And then once the renovations have completed, the plan is to move some kids or have some kids in there as well as the office space. So public access following the completion of the project. So Grey County has committed to ensuring the exterior door leading into the common space will be accessible with an automatic door. The vestibule at the main entrance, which provides access to the area adjacent the reception or administration office of the Kids and Us space, is sufficiently sized to accommodate a wheelchair turning radius of 1,500 millimeters, or approximately 5 feet, I guess, in diameter. The public corridor, which serves as the primary access route to the Kids and Us tenancy, meets accessibility requirements in terms of width. Additionally, the coat hanging and cubby storage previously located in the corridor has been relocated inside the daycare suite. This change eliminates this change eliminates potential obstruction and ensures the corridor remains clear with clear width of barrier-free access. So the doors providing entry into the daycare suite are accessible in terms of width and clearance. However, they are not equipped with an automatic door operator. Within the daycare suite, the path from the public corridor entrance to the preschool classroom exceeds the 1.1 meters in width, providing a barrier-free route. The interior corridor connecting classrooms to office and staff areas also meet the barrier-free width requirements. An accessible washroom labeled the staff washroom is located off the public corridor and designed for exclusive use by the Kids and Us staff only. New doors servicing the public and semi-public spaces within the suite. So they have a sleep room, the offices and doors are all 965 millimeters wide and meet accessibility standards. The exceptions to these are the doors for the storage, the IT closet, and the just storage closets. The lighting, there'll be new lighting installed within the sleep room, cubbies, and offices that are LED fixtures that improve the visibility on desk and floor surfaces when compared with the former fluorescent lighting fixtures. These fixtures have a 3,500 Kelvin lamp arrangement, which provides a good balance of warm light that is also bright. And then there's the legislation requirements in here. And then following completion of the Kids and Us project, Grey County has committed to ensure that the exterior doors leading into the common space will be accessible automatic door. This project is included in the 10-year capital plan. So any questions?
One thing that stuck out to me was the fact that you did move the cloakroom into rather than out in the entrance for security reasons, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
I do just have, I guess, one question that might lead to 10. I don't know. When you say accessible washroom, are you talking just turning radius, or is there like a sensor tap, sensor soap, sensor hand dryer, as well as that leads to like a wheelchair or like an accessible change table.
Those are good questions. I do not have the answer. Right now, I think it's just the space. Can I get back to the committee on that?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that was I am the mom of a child in a wheelchair. She's not really a child anymore. She's 26. But when we started looking for daycare services in the area, we could not find anyone that had like the change table and the wheel, like, and the change table and the accessibility in the same room until she got to school. And so that was one of the things about when we say a wheelchair accessible. Yes, it's accessible, that it has a turning radius in it, but it actually should have a list of things that goes with it. And the only reason I say that is because as a parent with a child in a wheelchair, I do believe that it's a mandatory item that both the children and the parents get to belong to society as regular people, knowing that there are those things for right down to the difference with my child is she's 100% cognitive. And so she would have to take someone to the bathroom because they would have to lift and change. She basically ALS in children. So it's not like she could go in and transfer herself onto the toilet. So she could, and it's not, she does, so she's that combination where she's not like spina bifida or cerebral palsy where they just need a change table. But she's not she can't transfer herself on the toilet. She literally needs both of those services.
Thanks, Christine. Good points. And obviously Sharon is, taking note of this and,
Yeah.
Is unable to actually provide us with the answers on the accessible features in the washroom. But, she's obviously duly noting the comments that we're making today.
Yeah, some of the other things too lead to, like, when you get up to a sink and you step up, most people have the soap dispenser up by the tap, right? Those people in the wheelchair may not be able to reach that, or is the hand dryer low enough because we put it in an area for when people are standing, etc. Bathrooms, I know there's a difference between being government regulation compliant, but actually what the people out there in the universe actually need seem to be two completely different things.
Chair Schultz, may I ask a question?
Absolutely. Yes, Jennifer.
Okay, thank you. And thanks for your comments, Christina. I'm interested. Well, first of all, I think we'll confirm, but I'm fairly confident that it will be censored taps and dryers. And this is part of the long-term care facility. So we're very aware of the need for people that are using wheelchairs to be able to access at different levels. So we'll do that confirmation. I just wanted to make sure I understood around the change table, accessibility, and perhaps Kathy might be able to help me out and confirm. They're in the accessible washroom in the admin building. There is kind of an electric, like a motorized change table.
Perfect.
Is that what you're describing?
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Okay. I don't know, and I agree with Shannon. We're not sure about that, but we will take note and go back and do some follow-up and appreciate your comments.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Jennifer. Greatly appreciate that.
Through you, Madam Chair. I just noticed on the sheet, it does have a change table in the kids part of the renovations, like in their washrooms. The staff washrooms, it doesn't look like it shows it, but in the kids' washroom, it does.
Okay. Great. Does anyone else have any questions for Jennifer or Shannon? No? Brooke? Andrew?
Is that change
Nope, I'm good.
table? Is that change table an adjustable as was suggested? Or stationary solid?
I can't confirm which one it is. It has an area for it. I could share my screen if that would help.
Not likely.
Yeah. Okay.
And Brooke, you had a question?
No, I just said I'm good.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, no other questions or comments for Shannon or Jennifer? No? The one thing that I did do was I didn't get I didn't get anyone to move the motion. So can I get someone to move the motion?
Yes.
Thank you, Andrew, and a seconder, please.
I can do it. It's
Okay,
Brooke.
thanks, Brooke. And can I ask for all in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
Brooke, Andrew, thank you. And the motion is carried. And I'd like to thank Shannon and Jennifer for your time today and coming before the committee and getting, questions and comments and responses from the members. So thank you.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, we will move along to the next item on the agenda. And I will present the motion that the Municipality of West Grey Multiple Year Accessibility Plan 2025 to 2029 be presented to the Grey County Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee for review and comment. Can I have someone move the motion, please?
Sure.
Great, okay. And Christina, would you like to second it? Okay,
Sure.
Great, thank you. And I will hand it over to Jamie, and I hope I do not pronounce your name wrong. Eckenswiller from West Grey. She is the West Grey clerk.
Thank you, Chair
Sorry,
Phillips.
he's
No,
West
that's
Grey.
okay.
Sorry.
No problem. It happens more often than you think. I'm actually going to turn this over to Krista Langdon, our legislative coordinator, for her to present to committee.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Thank you, Jamie, and through you, Chair, to the committee. It's wonderful to be here today. So West Grey's multi-year accessibility plan, 2025 to 29, is it's being proposed now. It's replacing our previous plan from 2020 to 2024, which expired last year. This plan seeks to build on what was in the plan previous and ensuring that accessibility remains front of mind. Of course, it's not meant to be a static document that lives on a shelf. It's always a front of mind, continual evolution of as new services, as new things become available. It keeps accessibility, of course, front of mind. Some of the main goals for this plan are to keep an eye to our procurement process and making sure accessibility needs are considered when we're procuring goods and services for all municipal goods and services and our facilities as well. Making sure that our policies remain with accessibility in mind, and ensuring that, of course, customer service being fully accessible, front of mind. One of the things that all staff have recently performed, we've all went through and successfully completed customer service, accessible customer service training, and that includes not only staff, but members of council and all municipal volunteers as well. So it is something we take very seriously. And again, this plan just helps formalize how we approach accessibility in the municipality. The municipality also has a brand new website, and of course, being accessible not only just in the website, but how we promote and share communication is very important, and how our message is received and making sure it's available to everyone in various forms. if information is not provided in a format that's accessible to some people. Alternate formats can be, of course, requested through the office. Our employment policies are keep accessibility in mind, and we try to keep things barrier-free. And of course, with our built spaces and environment, any renovations or new builds or construction, accessibility is front of mind. I think the most recent one that comes to mind is the splash pad that was built last year and recently just opened. It came to this committee for review. And of course, bringing documents like this to the committee for this review and feedback, it just helps us continually evolve and improve our accessibility standards. That's it at a very high level. Are there any questions, Jamie? If there's anything you want to add there, please feel free. Or otherwise, I'll open it up to the committee for questions or conversation.
So do any members have any questions or comments for Krista or Jamie? No?
Wait, maybe I have one. Is this a annual review? I'm just trying to read. Oh, so 25 to 29. Is there a way that it might not be your municipality question, it might be an everybody. What do municipalities do to review maybe changes in the accessibility instead of having a 4-year plan? Are there like little micro meetings of something that maybe somebody comes to you on how to make something better within your municipality? Like I'm looking at your picture of your splash pad, and I know that this was one of the things that I brought to the town of Hanover as well. Accessibility and being, accessibility friendly are not always the same thing. Whereas someone in a power wheelchair shows up to your splash pad, it's really not really accessible. Right? It's not a comment. It's not a feature that goes well together. And so I had proposed like maybe somewhere down the road, we look at building like an extra storage room that contains one of those water chairs, and then maybe the table and the lift that transfers somebody from a wheelchair accessible or from a wheelchair to an accessible what do they call Moby? It's the thing that goes on the Moby mat. What's the actual water chair that people take at the beach, right? So I get
I think it is actually called a Moby chair.
Is it a Moby chair that goes on a Moby mat?
I believe so.
And so there are things where I look at people and I give them kudos for trying to make things as accessible as they can, but there are still things that will never be like 100% perfect. And if anybody on this chat is listening and you are going in the future to build fully 100, and I mean 100% accessible splash pad, there's a state-of-the-art one in Texas. It's too long of a drive. I joked about getting in the car and just driving to it. But if you ever want to be the park that is 110% accessible, and please call me, because I will tell you that most splash pads in this area are not actually 100% accessible for all. That's all.
Thank you for that, Christina. And it is actually, I was just looking it up while you were speaking. It is a Moby chair, and that's the Moby mats, Moby chairs, I believe, are all manufactured from the same company, which originated, I believe, in Switzerland or Germany. Yeah, definitely it's a Moby chair. Fully accessible, able to be used on splash pads and submersed into the water. But it's a good point you bring up. Especially someone in a power chair is not going to be able to use the splash pad for sure.
I haven't found a splash pad that can 100% claim that it's accessible. But if there's anybody out there listening that is going to build one and they want to be that first one in the area, I have people that, they come to Sabo Beach, they come to there's a group chat, and that's the group chat that I am in. All they continuously do is share the Moby mat and the Moby chair that is used. I believe it's Kincardine. That is the one that literally gets repeated the most within the accessible groups that I belong to. And so those are the people that are going to try and book that chair, etc.
Good point. I know the first municipality in all of this area along Georgian Bay to get the Moby mat, and then eventually they did end up getting the Moby chair, was the town of Wasaga Beach.
Oh, there you go.
That's, the longest freshwater beach in Canada. Obviously it was to their best advantage to take advantage of the Moby mat. And then eventually they got the Moby chairs. So, yeah. And I totally understand what you're saying and your concerns for that. And I know that Kathy had her hand up. Kathy?
I did, but I thought I should give the presenters an opportunity to respond before I interject with a thought.
Sure. Thank you. Yes. Krista or Jamie?
Certainly, and Krista, you can build on this if you like through you, Chair Schultz. Accessibility is something, as Krista mentioned, is always front of mind. This is a guiding document. It's not a static document. So as things evolve, as we're made aware of accessible features and options, we certainly want to hear from the public on what we can do to better improve our accessibility standards.
That's great. Thank you, Jamie. Does anyone else have any comments? I know Kathy, did you?
Yeah.
Yes. Kathy.
So part of what Christina mentioned was reporting on the progress of the plan, and that is something that happens annually as well. Municipalities do a report on the plan's progress, and those reports, get posted to the municipalities' websites.
Great. Thanks, Kathy, for that additional information. Does anyone have any other questions or comments for Krista or Jamie? No? Okay. So I will ask for all in favor of the motion from the members. Brooke?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
Okay, the motion is carried. And I'd like to thank Krista and Jamie for coming to the committee today and for all your work on your report. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and I'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is correspondence, which we do not have any. And then to move on from there, other business, Guide Dog Month. September is Guide Dog Awareness Month, and I'll let Kathy speak to that.
Okay, thank you, Chair Schultz. Donald Anderson, who's a CNIB Foundation advocate, sent me an email that included this flyer that if you click on the link in the agenda will show you about Guide Dog Awareness Month, and it has nice links in there for guide dog etiquette, guide dog legislation, and they're having a webinar on Monday about if you work in healthcare and what your best approach is for welcoming guide dog teams. So I'm going to be attending that webinar on Monday, and then I will share with our paramedic services and our long-term care staff. And Andrew also sent me a lovely video, which I forwarded on. It was more having to do with enforcement. So I connected with our provincial offenses staff, and they gave me connections for the people who deal with public relations in all of our Grey County law enforcement, and I sent them, and they were happy to receive that from Andrew. So thank you, Andrew.
Great. Thank you,
I would-
Kathy.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure, Brooke.
Kathy, when you're watching the webinar and stuff, I'd be curious to know how much they cover and how like kind of neutral they are towards owner trained guides versus like owner trained service dogs. Because I just have noticed that there is because I'm part of the obviously the guide dog community, and so there is a big kind of I don't know what the word is, but there's a kind of a favoritism towards program trained. So I'd just be curious to know what kind of like promotion is being like kind of what kind of information is being promoted, because my concern would be that if we miss out on owner trained information, then our community could become kind of a rough place to kind of live. Like right now, like I've never had a problem with any, like I have my service dog who's owner trained, and I also have my service dog in training. So, and I've never ever been questioned, which I think is amazing. And both of them are very well behaved. But that'd be my curiosity.
Yeah, that's a great
Because my
point.
worry is that if we're promoting only what CNIB gives out, and it's not neutral, like between the two, like if it's too favored into one side versus the other, then I worry that people like me who do choose to train their own service dog, like I know I can go to a program if I want to, but I choose not to. And so I think that I would just be worried that we'd start running into problems that we're not running into now.
Right. Okay, I will definitely keep my eyes open for that. And I wonder if I am able to share the link. Would you like me to share it with you to see if you could access it as well?
Sure.
Okay, it's on Monday. I'll send that to you.
I should be available Monday.
Okay.
Can I add something here for a sec?
Yeah.
Okay, so I work full-time for St. John Ambulance in Hanover. We cover Grey Bruce, Huron, and Perth. And what we have, and I know it's not the same, so it's gonna be a big carry-on paragraph here. So what we have is called Therapy Dog. And I think this is so we have therapy dogs. Our therapy dogs go into retirement homes, high schools. They have programs to read books too. We've even got one amazing volunteer that takes her dog to a jail. Okay. So I know that therapy dogs and service dogs are not the same. So, but what I am finding is, as the coordinator for a portion of this program, is I have a large amount of people call me and want to make their dog a therapy dog for themselves. And so I get what Brooke is saying, but what I'm finding is that people are turning to CNIB, etc., because they're calling me, asking me who does training, and I cannot answer them. I have zero ideas and zero resources if they don't want to go through somebody like CNIB. I also have zero resources to give these people that would like to train their dogs themselves. I also know there are some people that should also not train dogs themselves. So I'm seeing from my role at work, so a therapy dog has to go through a little bit of testing to make sure it can withstand like loud noises, etc. The owner has to 100% take care of that dog and its fees, etc. And they go and socialize the dog. It is not a service dog. And so I get phone calls all the time. And I think basically those people that do have the resources for training, or do have or want to find resources to do the training themselves, they're just not out there. Like I get a ton of calls asking me, how do I make I know my dog is not a therapy dog. I need my dog as a service dog. How do I train the dog that I have? And most people are going to CNIB or the Lions Guide Dog Foundation, etc., because it takes a lot of work and time to train them yourselves. And I haven't met very many people that have that dedication that Brooke does. But I'm also finding when people call me and ask me, there is not a resource heavy manual that I can find that says, here's how you do this. Here's what you need to do. Here's where you can find additional help to help you guide yourself in that process. Where we're finding when Natalie goes out with her guide dog, she literally has to show the legit card paperwork, depending on where she goes. And some places are, versus like Natalie and Brooke is the same. They have the dog trained so well that there are people that are trying to train their dog. And Natalie has heard this so many times, is that people walk in with a dog that's got a service dog banner they've just ordered off Amazon, and all of a sudden they think, and I get it, and I get that. But if you're gonna take a dog into that store, then there are certain rules you have to follow. Like, it can't growl at a different dog, and it can't do right? And so I'm finding right now that that is where the hugest crossover is. So I think that if somebody, and maybe Brooke has that resource that could even help somebody like me guide people on how to go above and beyond and where to find the resources to train their own dog, or who can certify that dog, or without having to go and sit on a wait list because they have this dog, it is well behaved. How can they move forward?
So Christina, just to add to this,
I'd be happy to give you any information and give you some resources. And just a quick thing, there is no national or provincial certification. Yes, the programs say that their dog is certified, but that's certified with that program, not certified. Like if you go and pass a dog that was trained by CNIB to, say, a dog that was trained by Lions, there's nothing saying that those two schools will then go and certify each other's dogs.
Correct. That's right. The standards are
So I'd be
there.
great. So I'd be willing to just ask. Oh my God, I had it. You can ask Kathy for my contact information, and I can give you some information of who to contact and pass on to other people.
Yeah, because I have a lot of people that call my office that want to make their dog a service dog, but don't understand the difference between a service dog and a St. John Ambulance therapy dog.
So, just a question or just a response to this. I don't know if either of you are aware of COPE service dogs. So that they operate out of Barrie, Ontario. They do education and training around service dogs. So that might be a good resource for you. They are certified. They do carry identification on the animal to prove that they are a service dog. COPE has been around for quite some time now, at least when I started doing training. So they've been around for at least 20 years.
Oh, yeah. Never heard of them.
At a minimum of 20 years.
Is that the same organization as the one in Oakville?
No, that's Lions. That's the Lions Foundation.
Yeah, COPE is very specific to service dogs. So somebody, and they provide the education and the training, for somebody who requires a service dog.
Lions is the same. I got my first 3 dogs from them, and then decided to branch off and raise and train my own to have the freedom to also do dog sports competitions, which I wasn't able to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good points though. And Kathy, thank you for bringing this up. I'm pleased with the information, and obviously it does create conversation around service animals and and guide dogs for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have any other comments or questions with regards to this subject? No? Okay. Thank you, though. All right, I guess the next item is our next meeting, and that will be, oh boy, November 20th. That seems so far off right now. So Thursday, November 20th at 2 p.m. And I guess if no one has any other comments or questions for the meeting today.
I have one more thing to add.
Yes, thank you.
So there's a woman, she's a little bit older than my Natalie, and she has started a wheelchair accessible travel blog. And she's traveling the world. Good for her. Anyway, I was just looking at her page because she actually went, and this is amazing. She went to Cowbell, and Cowbell is one of the very first places in Ontario that I believe that is a full-blown restaurant that is actually endorsed by the Rick Hansen Foundation. So I follow her journey, etc. So just so you know, congratulations, Cowbell. Good for them for, going above and beyond. But she's got if anybody else that's in a wheelchair and they want to start traveling, her name is Tori Hunter, and she's got quite the blog going on.
That's great, Christina. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, those, just bits of information that is out there that people are not aware of, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And as you say, for traveling, just getting that information and
Yeah,
knowing.
so she did a little a little something on her visit to Cowbell. And so she's got quite a few things on her blog, but yeah.
That's great. Thanks, Christina, for sharing that. That is wonderful. Okay, if we don't have any other comments or anything else to add to the meeting today, it's just always great to see everyone and have great conversation. And oh, what a cute kitty.
This is our foster.
Oh boy. Oh,
Velati. He's named after a blue jay. Velati.
Oh,
I know. He keeps thinking he should walk on my computer.
He's got a great looking face. Oh my gosh. He's got character, that one.
He goes to get adopted on Monday.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's okay. He's a handful.
He's young, that's why.
We only foster a few at a time now, but he's pretty cute.
Oh, that's good of you. Yeah.
Yeah. In my spare time,
Yeah. All right, everyone. Great to see everyone today, and thank you for your input, and I will adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, everybody.
I think
sorry.
We need a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do that. I think I do that quite often. Can
I'll
I have
make that motion?
Oh, perfect. Thanks, Ray, and a seconder to adjourn the meeting. Thanks,
Sure.
Scott. Okay, super. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye.